Over time, well, unlike India, which is a very big country, you can have a regular army, you can have, a full-time standing army. We couldn't afford that. Too small. 2 million people, half them women. There's just not enough people to go around to form a full-time army. So we had to do it by conscription. Basically, we passed the law, the Enlistment Act, that allows the government to call up both male and female. That the law actually provides the government, for the government to call not just guys but girls to serve as part of national service. They haven't called up the girls yet because they feel that there's no need to do so. So at the moment, they've just concentrated on the guys. But what we've done over the years is that national service is a way of keeping Singapore safe. Because of the SAF, because we have them, our skies are safe, our waters are safe, and Singapore as an island is safe. And that concept has become central to Singapore and Singaporeans, so much so that national service is just considered part and parcel of life. It's disruptive when you have to start working, because sometimes it means you have to take about 2 or 3 weeks out of your work to do in-camp training. But Singaporeans realize we need to do this because if we don't defend ourselves, who will? And it's not just, national service is one part of it. That's only one part of our defense, because it means that that's the operational part. Those are the ones who wear the camouflage outfits. Those are the ones who will man the machines. Those are the ones who will do the actual fighting. But we also realize that you cannot just depend on the operational side to defend you, because defense is more than that. And that's when we came up with the concept of total defense, meaning that there's the military side, but there's also things like the economic side. Even if women don't do national service, don't forget that when we go out to work, when we pay tax, every tax dollar helps to pay for the ammunition that we use in our defense. Every tax dollar helps to pay for the aircraft that we use in our defense. And every tax dollar helps to pay for all the things that the SAF uses. More importantly is the idea of the fact that we all contribute to it. So there's also psychological defense, because as a nation, you want to make sure that if you're ever under attack or under any form of external threat, as a nation you stand together. For those of you who recall the Mumbai attack last year, one of the most important things, very important psychologically for those who lived in Mumbai, was to get back to normal as fast as possible. It took a little bit of time to do that, but it was important that they did that because they received a tremendous shock to the system, where you have somebody who can come and do something like this, and it's so terrible to have it happen to your friends and to see people who are taken out in the middle of a conflict like that. But I was watching in the newspaper, there was the pub, I think, which was near the hotel that had been bombed, and they decided that no, we will go on business as usual. And that was a very important psychological thing, because it basically said that we won't let this overcome us. We will make sure that we put everything back to normal. And that was what people in Mumbai did. And that is another aspect of total defense in Singapore that we are encouraging Singaporeans to think about. So the upshot of all that I'm saying about the Singapore story is that Singapore is about people. It's about people working as a team. And our different racial backgrounds, our different religions, our different cultural and ethnic differences are something to be celebrated, not something that should be divisive. It is our differences that make us strong. It is the differences that enable us to learn from each other. There's always a tendency, right, to just hang out with those who are more like you because these are your friends. That's not a bad thing, because it means you have your group of friends. But it is a bad thing if it makes you close to other people, if it makes you only concentrate on your own circle and nobody else. It's good to have your circle because that gives you strength, it gives you confidence, it gives you a sense of belonging. But the idea is that you should always be open. And that is what Singapore, the cosmopolitan society, is about. It's about having people tapping on their strengths. It's about Singaporeans, but also the people who come to visit us, work here, the PRs, new citizens, the ones who are here on employment passes, the ones who study here. These are all part and parcel of what makes up Singapore. It's what gives us our strength. And it's something that you constantly have to work on. Singapore is not a done deal. We haven't come to the stage where we can say, oh, we've achieved this and now we can rest. We can never rest, because as soon as you think you have achieved a certain level, somebody else has moved ahead, or the world has changed, or the economic situation has changed. So for us, it's a little bit like, running on a treadmill. You keep running, but the important thing is that other people are running with you. This whole country is about being a team, and that was really the essence or the theme of what I wanted to speak about today. And if you have any questions after this, please feel free to raise them with me. Thank you very much.
That was indeed very inspiring and enriching. Your talk has not only been an insight into the knowledge of the history of Singapore, its life and culture, but also very motivating for all of us over here.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a thought-provoking and insightful talk. We're sure that most of you are eagerly waiting to know more about the cosmopolitan nature of Singapore. So the forum is now open to questions, and we request Ms. Rajah to kindly take over.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm the vice head girl of the school. My name is Radhika. The role of women in society has transformed greatly over the past decade. My generation is likely to be even more career-oriented than the past ones. You're a successful lawyer and a member of parliament. We look upon you with respect and as a person whom we can emulate in our career planning. Could you please give us some guidance as to how we could possibly plan our higher education, our career, our hobbies, or perhaps other commitments?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. I think the most important thing, right, for all of you when you're choosing what to do is to choose the thing that feels right for you. There are many times when, I hear of people who go into a particular study choice or career choice because their parents wanted them to, but they themselves did not want to do so. I think you will find that if you do something that your heart is not in it, you won't enjoy it, and as a result, you won't get the most out of it. At best, what happens is that you just go along feeling a bit, okay, I can just live with this. But at worst, you get this sense of resentment and anger, and then you feel that I really just want to walk away from all of this. For myself, I'm an accidental lawyer. Let me explain why I say accidental. After I finished my A-levels, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I was very sure what I didn't want to do and what I couldn't do. I wasn't from the science stream, so that ruled out engineering, it ruled out the science faculty. I didn't want to do medicine, even though my biology was okay. I didn't want to do architecture. By the time I crossed out all the things I did not want to do, that left me with two choices, arts and law. And then I thought, okay, why don't I do arts? And I decided on philosophy, political science, economics. Then I put in my form at NUS and I went home, and that very night we had dinner with a family friend who was a lawyer. Then he said, why don't you take law? Because law will give you all of the same options that the 3 art subjects would, and in addition it gives you a professional degree, so it gives you an extra option. And I thought, okay, that makes sense to me. So I went back the next day and then had to change my form, and I reapplied. And after I got into the law faculty, I discovered much to my surprise that I actually liked it. Well, maybe because I'm just so used to just like talking, you know what I mean? This way I get paid to talk. So it was a career that I found suited me. But then I had to decide, once I graduated and went into law firm, whether to do litigation, which means going to court and doing trials, or whether to do conveyancing, which is transfers of property or corporate work. And my mom and other people kept telling me, well, why don't you do conveyancing, corporate work, because it's less stressful. But it just didn't feel right. It just didn't gel with me. I discovered I liked litigation, I liked going to court, I liked arguing, I liked winning primarily. Didn't like losing, but sometimes unfortunately you have to make do with that as well. So I decided on litigation. and I've never regretted it because it was my